she is.
There we go. There's that red button of action.
It matters. That red button matters a lot. I'm Melinda McKinsey.
I'm Tom Wise.
We are here to unpack some shit with you on this this Monday. It's Monday. Does it feel like a Monday to you, Tom?
Yeah, I guess it does. I mean, Saturday I had something to do. Saturday was rainy here. Sunday was stunning here.
Jealous.
Absolutely stunning. I went down to the living room for a little brunch.
Oh, the living room in Dunedin? Oh, that's such a cute place.
I went with Lisa.
Yes.
We need to have her on to talk about pottery. Her business is exploding. Well, not literally.
Well, that's good. All right. Well, I should have her talk to my daughter. You know, she's an up and coming ceramic person. She has a ceramics Instagram account. Yeah.
Yeah. So it's nice to hear somebody's independent, doing it.
Oh, absolutely. And speaking of independent, did you watch the Meghan and Harry interview last night on Oprah Winfrey?
I did not. Is that on the HBO?
I don't know what it was on. I watched it on Hulu Live.
I can't wait till I have more money than I know what to do with. I just subscribe to everything.
But no, this is a big deal. And I know that you're a dude and everything, but this was a compelling interview. I mean, I'm not a traditional royal follower, but some big explosive things have been happening politically. And so with everything that happened with Princess Diana, have you heard anything on social media about it at all?
All I've heard is it seems like they're throwing the royals under the bus. There's some sort of...
Really?
That's what I'm hearing.
All right. I just want to know.
And that's the royals don't like it.
Wow. Well, from watching the interview, because I was just enthralled with the whole thing, the short version is they stepped away because of their safety, because the royals, it's not necessarily the queen, but it's the big bureaucracy that rules everything, right? Harry and Meghan are very close with Queen Elizabeth, but the institution in itself said that Harry and Meghan's child, Archie, before he was born, that he was not going to have royal security, and that they were going to drop the security for the baby, and they wanted to know why. And apparently there's some controversy because they were worried how dark the child was going to be.
Well, I can see that.
It's so then Harry and Meghan didn't really step away. According to this,
it's crazy.
They didn't. Here's what they're saying. And I have a tendency to believe them just based on what happened to Princess Diana, that the British press loves scandal, loves controversy, and that they twist and wrap things around. They said that the monarchy traditionally has the press over. They socialize with them. They know each other, but they like all of the stuff, so that they, started stirring the pot. And Prince Harry said he didn't feel safe when they said they were going to not protect the baby. But here's the crappy thing they did. The press announced their location when they were staying in Canada before she had the baby. They announced their location and then called Harry up and said, oh, guess what? We've let your security go. Good luck. Yeah. It's bad. There's some bad stuff that's going on. So you need to watch it. I'll be interesting to see how it plays out, because at the end of the day, all they care about are their family relationships. And Harry said, look, my family's trapped. They're trapped in this institution. They don't know how to get out. I feel lucky that I could walk away, but that Charles is refusing to speak to him. Charles won't take his phone calls. And I needed another reason to hate Charles. I hate Charles so much. So I hate him even more.
It's interesting. You know what? This is very interesting. And this also ties into my lack of sleep.
Okay.
You want me to tie this up?
I do. Tie it up, sir.
I was watching. So I got up today about 6 o'clock, 5:40 to 3. I just rolled over and I'm up. All right.
Okay.
I'm in a crazy sleep pattern where I go to bed at 11, sleep till 4:35, or go to bed at midnight, get sleep till 4 or 5. Oof. And then I'm up for an hour, and then I sleep then I go back to bed and I'll sleep like a rock until 9 o'clock.
Okay.
But there's a gap where I'm up for an hour and a half between 5:30 and 7 and whatever the hell it is. It's crazy. It's a crazy way to live, because it's just chewing up time. Then I end up in bed for 10 hours.
Of course.
So I, of course, watched the Gilligan's Island reunion where everybody came on
Of course.
not the show, but they went on to a Fox late night show that's no longer about, out back in 1989.
Okay.
Okay. Everybody's still alive at this juncture.
Yeah. You know, Marianne just recently died from COVID.
Yes, I do.
So sad.
Because I had to watch the follow-up, how everybody's dead.
Oh, is everybody? No, Tina Louise is still alive.
Yeah,
correct?
Tina Louise is still alive.
Okay.
Which is odd because she's the one that typically regrets, huh?
Yeah, she seemed to not enjoy her time on the island.
Well, because the show only ran for 3 seasons, but the reruns ran for 50 years.
Yes.
And so she was typecast as that person. I think they got paid residuals for a couple of years after the reruns, after the show ran.
Uh-huh.
And then essentially their careers were pigeonholed into, we can't use you. Everybody looks at you as Marianne. Everybody looks at you as Ginger. You're the skipper. You're whatever. And I mean, think about if you could possibly spend how much advertising that would be to have your likeness all over the United States, maybe all over the globe for 40 years. People have been watching Gilligan reruns, and those guys can't work. Essentially, they can't work anymore.
Yeah. Well, wouldn't you try to make the most of it, Tom? Wouldn't you just try to utilize and capitalize off of who they say you are?
Well, the short answer would be yes. The second answer is, I know I could do that, but I don't want to pitch shoes on QVC. I want to act. I want to be an actress. For the first time, I'm going to take up Tina Louise's, I'm going to take up her acts and say, okay, she just did this as a gig and she ruined her life. Somewhat how Charles has been born into royalty and you can't choose it. It is what it's thrust upon you. It's an interesting thing when something is thrust upon you, even though you kind of, and there's nothing to be done. I mean, Charles clearly he can't choose where he's going to be born, although it's a damn nice life. No one's complaining about it.
Right.
And then Tina Louise, right. Oh yeah, it's fun being recognized. And she made a little bit of money, but not very much money at all compared to how it just killed her career. Yeah. So it's an interesting dynamic when stuff is thrust upon you like that. And you're stuck.
I agree. I mean, I think Charles did not choose the family that he was born into. But like what Harry said last night is that Charles has had opportunities to stand up and handle some things and he's chosen not to. And that's really, listen, we're all born in circumstances we don't choose.
Right. Am I going to blow up my family my relationship with my mother, the relationship with my people, because I'm going to stand up and take a stand against something that, someone else thinks I should be doing? I don't know.
Right. And so that seems to be, what the stance is from Harry and Meghan is, some frightening things happened to them and they asked for help and they were told, not only will we not help you or stand by you, we're going to announce your location and take your security away.
Can I say something? And I don't know, but my gut is that she enjoys a little bit of drama. She likes the spotlight.
If a man were saying that, would you feel that way?
Well, she marries into the royals and now she wants to break away and go start her own life. It's like, really? There's no other man you could have married than to have your quiet life in California.
But see, that's not even the way it is. That's the way it's been played in the press, is that she didn't ask to leave. It wasn't her choice to leave. Harry is the one that made the choice. She asked while she was there, can I get some help? She said she was suffering depression. She wanted help. Do you know when you move in with the royals, they take your passport, your driver's license, your keys. You can't go anywhere without permission. I didn't know that. She can't go anywhere without permission.
Yeah. And so I did not know that either. I mean, like presidents can't drive, right?
Yeah, of course. And so she was explaining that she, of course, didn't understand the level, because she said no one can understand the level until you get into it, but that she sought help and said, I need help. And they said, we can't help you because you're not a paid member of the royal family. So she said, how can I get help? And they said, oh, we feel badly for you because she's getting death threats, but we're not helping you.
And so really, I just wondered, those conversations seem to be so one-sided. Don't you think? You think that someone's really saying that? Who is it? If that person was in the room, would they be saying the same thing? No, we told her we can't. She's not. She's out. We're cutting her off. We're cutting her baby and her adrift.
Well, and I guess the reason I buy into it, because I had read a lot about Princess Diana's life, and she kind of went through the same thing and asked for help, and they said no.
And maybe that's all true. That's horrible.
And that's what Harry is saying. That's why Harry came on the interview too, and he said, here's the problem. The outside world sees one thing, the inside is another thing. And he said, my family is trapped. My family's trapped. They can't get out of it. And he said, I had to, but the good news is I have a great relationship. He said, I respect my grandmother too much. I would never have surprised her and walked away. He said, that's not at all what happened. I had conversations and she gave us permission, and we said, we're concerned about our family. And she said, I understand, but what can she do? You know, she's the queen, but she's a figurehead, right?
Yeah.
So I think more is going to come out. And I think it's unfortunate because, you know, as well as I do, the media can take anything and make it into anything. And it's hard to refute it if you have many, many newspapers saying you are this or you are that.
Well, you know what? I'm a bit more concerned about Gilligan than I am over.
I know. And Tina Louise, that poor thing, being a sex symbol her whole life.
Well, I tell you, because like Nathan Hale, the captain,
yes,
he turned it into a marketing thing.
He really did.
He did. Yeah. And it's very interesting. He was talking about, he's got some sort of restaurant or something, or some sort of boating cruises that he, but he could put because he loved the skipper. So he wore that hat and he puts himself on a billboard so he can make a living. Tina Louise can't do the same thing. She can't open up a lobster pot.
I've only read a bit about her. I believe she did audition for several things and they just, wouldn't see her as anybody else.
Exactly. And but it's very interesting. So you see Nathan Hale during the interviews talking about some sort of motor additive that he's invested in, and that he's promoting, like, Magic Marvin's Magic Miracle Oil, and he's putting, we're going to blah, blah, blah. And then you realize he's dead within 2 years.
Oh, he died young then.
He did die young. He was vivacious, vim and vigor. And
wow.
And then you saw Mr. Magoo, right? The millionaire.
Oh, Thurston Howell.
Yeah. Jim Backus. He's there. Now he looked feeble, but he was a lot older, and he's also dead now within a year and a half of that particular show.
Wow. I'll have to watch that. That's fascinating. I mean, Gilligan's Island during my era was the thing. I mean, you didn't look past how ridiculous it was. You just bought into the whole thing of like
Harlem Globetrotters.
They can't get off the island and people keep showing up and leaving them.
It was great. But by the way, the reunion, just outside the fact of seeing them all together.
Sure.
It was the guy who was, you can see why the guy, his talk show was up against Johnny Carson and up against Jay Leno. It was the Fox version of that. I'd never heard of it.
No.
The guy was kind of like he was a little cynical, sarcastic about the whole thing. He wasn't a fan.
Oh no.
It's like, you know what? You gotta, not Johnny Carson like at all. You got to be, if you're not in it, you got to pretend to be in it. You just can't be askance,
Yeah, interesting. Yeah, I'll have to watch that. Well, I'd be curious to know, all right, so we're not on the same track with Meghan and Harry, but maybe if you watch some of the interviews, you might change your mind, because I feel like you're feeling that way based on what you've heard, right?
Of course. No, new information is always good.
Yeah.
But I also like to have somebody else what their view is. So you don't always can't, whenever you're talking to somebody who's offering their side of the opinion, it's like a trial case. When you hear the prosecution go first, it's like, oh my God, yeah, they're guilty. Yeah. Then you hear the defense go, maybe not so much. There might be a few things we could look at.
That's true. Have you ever been on a jury?
I've been called a jury. I never make it through.
Okay. I've been called a few times, but
at this point, if back 6 years ago, I would say something racist, but no, I'm not going to say something racist. I'm not
going to say anything racist. I was on one jury trial for 2 days in Florida, and it was fascinating. And I'm so glad that I participate in it. It teaches you so much about how easy it is to sway people, and people's lives are in the balance. It's excruciating.
It's crazy.
Yeah, it really is. I mean, so yeah, that's fascinating. So what kind of sexy stuff you want to talk about?
All right. Tom Brady, food, Shot shit. 5 stars, drop an egg.
5 stars, comma, drop an egg, or 5 stars?
Two different topics.
Okay. And shoe shit?
Shot shit, please.
Dang, I was so close.
What have you got?
Shit. I've got favorite positions.
There we go. Let's just get started right there. Get the kids out of the room.
Urban legends.
Is that related to the first one?
Nope. Mystery apartment and the Streisand effect.
Oh my God, those are much better than mine.
I want to hear your shot shit. What is that?
Okay, I've got a moral dilemma.
Oh, I love moral dilemmas. Give it to me.
So I get I'll keep everybody anonymous. I get an email or a Facebook thing. I open it up and it's an application for the shot, but it needs to be signed by a doctor. Okay. I go, well, this is kind of odd. Why am I getting this? Well, because this person's trying to help me get the shot. And I go, well, I can't get the shot. I'm 62. I'm not qualified. I don't have a pre-existing condition outside my neuropathy, which I don't think is a pre-existing condition.
Okay.
And then, but the dog track, they've got 3 or 4 locations in this Tampa Bay area, which are just doing strict drive-up vaccinations.
Drive-up is nice.
No appointments needed. They're not taking appointments.
Oh.
From 7 a.m. to 7 p.m., right?
Right. So
they're like, I remember when I went to go buy fireworks, or when you buy fireworks in Pasco County, kind of the redneck county around here. Yes. You can buy legitimate fireworks. I mean, things that blow shit up.
Isn't that illegal?
Well, you can't buy it in Pinellas County, St. Petersburg, but you can buy it in Pasco, which is a little more rural.
Got it.
Okay. So, yes. But the rule is, in order to buy those fireworks, you've got to sign a waiver.
Yes.
Stating that I'm using these fireworks to scare off birds off my crops.
Yes. Okay.
Under those conditions, it's legal to buy exploding fireworks. So everybody just signs the waiver, explode. Yeah, crops. That's what I need these fireworks for. You know, don't forget the black cats. So I'm saying to myself, well, so let's say it's 6:45 and they've got this vaccine that they're going to throw away because they can't use it because it's been out of the refrigerator. Maybe old Tommy boy could slide in line and get himself a nice little shot with a forged doctor's appointment, doctor's note.
Are you worried because of you had Lyme's disease? Does that have any effect on your immune system? No.
I think anything is a stretch, but I'm not worried about it. I think it's more respiratory and heart.
Okay. I don't know what the qualifications are, and I don't know how strict they are. It seems like they're becoming more open because they're just trying to get everybody in, right?
That's what I'm saying. Now, for you to get in the line, you've got to show you're a firefighter, a school teacher, first responder, all those folks. And those folks are 65 or older, pre-existing condition. My buddy is younger than me, but has a pre-existing condition.
I believe my sister is getting the shot today because she works in the medical field. She's getting it today. So
what about my moral dilemma?
Well,
I don't feel like going to a doctor and pleading my case and having a doctor sign a note. I feel that if I'm going to be a part of some bullshit, it might as well just go the whole way. Just, Dr. Zhivago, here we go. And then they're going to take the piece of paper. Oh, Dr. Zhivago, fine. Go over there. You're getting the Moderna vaccine.
Well, I mean, I think
just like the fireworks waiver.
It's called a moral dilemma for a reason. I mean, I feel like knowing you as I know you, I don't think you're going to do it because I think there's a part of you that's going to say, I don't want to take the slot of somebody that probably needs it more than I do.
But at 6:45, we've got 500 doses left, which are going in the trash.
How do you know that?
I don't know that.
Right. You don't know that.
I don't know shit.
Right. I mean, you tell me.
You tell me.
I'm telling you that I don't think you'll do it because I think
okay. So you're saying it's wrong to do it. And I value that opinion.
I make a lot of bad choices, and I'm not saying I have the best moral compass. I'm not.
But clearly, you're answering the question, and I appreciate that.
But I say I don't think you would do it. I just don't think it's the right thing to do.
Okay, that's fine. That's what I'm asking. Is that monkey giant size, or just you have it close to the camera?
It's giant.
Holy shit! I thought it was like a optical illusion.
It's my giant sock monkey. I've had it. He is a duplicate of the miniature one that I have. And it just, I don't know why. I think it's the funniest thing on the planet. Why do I love these multicolored?
Instead of a man, you've got a sock monkey. That's very natural, miss.
Totally normal.
Huh?
Normal. It's normal. Normal. You know what?
I'm gonna get one of those. I'm gonna get one of those Japanese, pillows.
Yes, I've heard that those are great. I've heard those are great. So yes, this is something I've had for a while.
Really?
The miniature one is one I travel with. He's sitting across the room. So yes.
Are they considered the same person, or are they two different people?
They're two different people.
Does one get jealous when one travels?
I mean, I don't know. I haven't thought about it. I have no idea what you're talking about. What?
Is one an older brother or what? What's the relationship?
They're friends. They're just friends. They're my friend. They're each other's friends.
Is the bigger one nicer than the smaller one, or is there a dynamic like that?
They're both very adventurous and loving souls. They're up for a good time. What are you going to do about the shot? I have been getting these weird spam emails saying, oh, get the shot, trying to pull you in and click a link, which I've deleted all of them. So I'm imagining I feel bad for people that don't understand how the internet works, because I think people are going to be taken advantage of during this time.
Oh yeah, it's crazy. It's unfair. It used to be you had to call somebody or write them a letter. Now it's your IRS thing is blowing up. You blah 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 blah. Get the shot.
Oh yeah, I get the IRS thing and the shot thing. So what are you going to do? What are you going to do about the shot?
Probably do nothing.
I mean, I just can't imagine I could see you thinking about it, but I can't imagine you going there, because your idea of it not being a dilemma is, hey, if it's extra, but you don't know if it's extra.
And you know what? I need to go to a doctor. I don't want to make an appointment, but I need to go to a doctor and say, hey, am in some fashion, does this qualify me as pre-existing condition? I can't see how it does, but.
Well, I think soon enough they're going to open it. I know New York's trying to do better in getting more people out there. I'm laying low because I feel like I don't have to go out in the world, and I don't want to take someone's spot, because I feel like there's a lot of people that are forced to go on the subway and are forced to go to work.
I know. I just want to do stand up at open mics, and I want to play basketball.
Yeah. How soon do you think you'll be able to do the basketball?
I don't know. One of the players was petitioning the park district to, hey, you got pickleballers in there. You got kids running around. You do let us come. You got people working out inside there. It's like the only thing you've restricted that we can see is us playing ball. Now, I don't want to go. I'm not going to play without the shot.
Yeah.
But he's, you've got some deniers in the group.
Yeah. And that I was reading some stuff last night. Obviously this is a hit or miss. Not everybody gets it. Not everybody dies. And I think that's made it very confusing for people, right? Because in my world, people were saying, well, I don't know anybody that has it, so therefore, how bad can it be, right? I read an article last night in upstate New York. There was a 300-person wedding that should not have occurred, but it did. And it was indoor, outdoor, what have you. Some people that worked at a nursing home had attended this wedding. And I guess the COVID, it was the strong variant that was there. Because of these people that went to the 300-person wedding in upstate New York, by the time it was all said and done, 23 nursing home patients died from this particular strain. And so that's the problem, is that, of course, we never think we're going to pass it on. Of course, we never think that we're going to be the person that makes other people sick. The problem is you don't know. And that's why I've kind of lived on the edge of fear of like, I don't want to be that person.
Of course. It's funny because I finally looked up the statistics as to who's dying from this.
Yeah, who is?
And out of 400, back it up a couple of weeks, out of 450,000 deaths, right? So we know we're over 500,000 right now.
Right.
it was 400,000 of them were 65 and over. I mean, there's your huge swath, but you've got 700, 18 and, between 18 and 12. You've got a couple of dozen, kids. You got some infants. I mean, 4, 7, 12 infants. And it's heartbreaking to try to come up with let's open the schools back up. But we're going to lose 16 more kids. Yeah. But the numbers, I mean, we drive cars every day. If you want to live forever, you sit in a cocoon and you don't drive a car, because we know how many people die every day from car accidents. Hundreds.
Right. No, you're right. You're right. I don't know the answer. I mean, I was kind of relying on people in politics that are smarter than me until I learned they're not smarter than me.
No. And then I listen to radio guys or whatever that are cavalier about it. Let's open it all up. Well, there's a cost. There's a human life cost. And I understand there's a human life cost for everything. Just let's play Pop Warner football. Some kid's going to get paralyzed. There's a human cost to everything we do that is tragic.
Yeah. To be real honest with you, Tom, this whole experience, I was telling one of my friends yesterday, this whole experience has really, in my head, created a real dislike for humankind. It has. I've never been so pessimistic about humankind in my life, because I had always convinced myself that the people that were selfish and cruel and didn't care were the minority. And I'm seeing more out there of people that literally don't care, that say, you know what?
You want to wear a mask, you wear a mask.
Yeah, don't take away my freedom. And I'm just stunned at the inability to have compassion for people that maybe aren't in your life, that you could just be cautious just in case.
I know. I was on Facebook today and I saw somebody going off. If you want to wear a mask, you wear a mask. Well, I don't know why I have to wear a mask. If you're worried this, I said, we're in this a year and you're still asking this ridiculous question. If you don't know why you need to wear a mask, then you're just stupid or ignorant, or, it's not even a conversation. If you don't think that masks help or, deter, you're stupid.
And I wonder now, Tom, now that we've lived this, will it become a seasonal thing where, in the winter flu season, do we just wear a mask because I'm thinking if I get back to travel with my job, I will probably just wear a mask when I travel at all times.
Yeah. And flu is way down.
Yeah.
Because of the masking and the distancing. I mean, it's way down.
So I don't know. Let's talk about your favorite position. So if I ask you, what's the first thing you think of when I say Tom?
Yeah.
What's your favorite position?
In bed watching the big screen TV with a bowl of popcorn.
I love that answer. That's a great answer, because there's a lot of positions we can all be in.
Yeah,
right?
Heading towards grabbing an ice cream bar out of the freezer. That's a position I like.
My favorite position is wherever I'm at.
Yeah.
Wherever I'm at, I like to be in charge. Really? I like to be the boss. And I'm sure that's shocking to you.
Well, it's your cheeks tell the whole story.
I have bossy cheeks, in case people haven't listened to the episode of Face Rating. I have bossy cheeks. But I think it's funny that when you ask someone a question, obviously it comes from the lens of how you see things, right? Like of course it's a sexual question. What's your favorite position? Oh,
really?
Oh my Lord, I'm so surprised. What are you talking about, Melinda?
I thought we were trying to do one of those twists where you say one thing and have people think this, but it's actually this.
Well, it is a twist because, when I first saw this years ago, it was hilarious. It was on like one of those dating Bumble nightmares where they give stories, right? And some guy asked a girl, what's your favorite position? And she put CEO. Which is funny. It's hilarious. And he didn't go for it, which is unfortunate, because had he played the game with her, guys, fellas.
It's such a rude question to ask somebody you don't know.
Right?
It's rude. I mean, I don't want to be a prude about this, but if you're, right, 2 hours into and the conversation is kind of leaning that way, and you've touched the sexual this and that, maybe at that point, whatever. But just to filter people out. You're just looking for women that are, you know.
Well, yeah, I mean, that's what I was going to ask you. Don't you think it's a gauge for men, for men that are really just looking to have sex on a regular
Right.
basis, is that's their window, right? To go, look, I'm not going to waste my time talking to this chick if she's not going to play that game with
Well,
me.
this is my app all over again.
Which app? You have so many ideas for good
No,
apps.
my sex,
Oh,
my
the
my
matching.
my compatibility app. So we
I,
can act like human beings, but we know by date 7 that we're sexually compatible. We're not going to burn through 7 dates and then, you know, you're going to get a lot of, oh, I'm not doing that. We're not going to have that. Oh,
or
I can't. We can't have sex till we're married. What are you, crazy?
yeah, or someone that's really into like bestiality or something.
Yeah, exactly. So we don't have to get 9 dates in before we get, you know, let's not waste anybody's time. And I'm not saying so, but at least you know that, okay, this person has answered questions that says, yes, she's still interested in sex. It's funny. I look at like my dating, you know, I'm on a dating app. I go, probably not interested in sex, which is a crazy assumption to make about somebody.
Interesting. What do you base that on? What do you?
Her grumpy look.
Well, maybe she's grumpy because she wants sex, and it's
Could
been a
be. I don't
while.
know.
Isn't that interesting? So if someone looks grumpy, that's to you, your eye, that's a way of saying I'm opposed to fun.
You having fun. Yes.
Okay. So are there a lot of pictures on dating sites that are like, why? Why would anybody post a
Here,
grumpy picture?
here's the picture.
Is it the close up? What is that a real thing? I
Yeah,
haven't.
the picture from below your neck, you get
Oh,
17 chins.
you know what? When I was last on a dating site, I will say I noticed more men. I mean, everybody takes their own selfies. That's fine. You don't have to go and have someone take a picture.
Hence the word selfie.
But here's what I'm saying though. When you take a selfie, you still need to use a little bit of your mindset of what are they seeing, not what do you think. A lot of guys would do it from like the bottom up and you could see their ceiling fan and stuff. And I was like, you're
I like
telling
getting the toilet in the shot.
the toilet in the shot is a real bummer. I'm not impressed with that because it tells me they're lazy.
Yeah.
I think they're late.
Well, I've seen toilets in the girl shots too, you know.
Well, I'm not saying girls don't do it either, but I don't see the girls' photos because
Of course. Well, don't yell at me.
I'm heterosexual. So I don't know what the ladies do. But I think it's funny when a guy will take like a blurry picture and put it on. I'm like, either you're lazy or you don't look that good. So I'm gonna have to say no to all of those things. Why wouldn't you give the effort at the beginning?
Because
Right?
he knows the truth.
Or the shirtless guys. There's so many shirtless guys.
Oh,
Guys.
I'm going to be shirtless soon with all this rowing.
Well, you know what? You got to do what you got to do, Tom. How is your rowing going?
It was funny. So Melissa is the person I kind of bounce off, right? She's kind of like the benchmark. She got me not started on rowing, but I was surprised when I started rowing in January that she was also rowing, right? Which is fun. It's not because I didn't know anything about it.
Yeah.
Long story short, my times were miserable. I mean, I'm like efforting.
Yeah.
They're saying, well, a good pace is 25, 27 strokes a minute, right?
Okay.
And then 2 minutes and 30 seconds to go 500 meters. So I've got numbers in my head. All right.
Okay.
25 strokes, 27 strokes a minute.
Okay.
2.5 minutes should get you 500 meters.
Okay.
I'm 35 strokes a minute. I'm going like a madman.
Okay.
And to go 500 meters is taking me 3 minutes and 45 seconds.
So you really have to know math when you do this rowing stuff.
Well, I'm just saying, I'm just saying, I'm trying to figure out if I'm getting a good workout and where am I in my class, right? So I'm last in the class with those results.
Yes.
These people are doing 500 meters in 2.5 minutes. I'm doing 500 meters in over 3.5 minutes. I'm a minute behind.
But what did you learn from Melissa?
Well, Melissa was giving me some technique adjustments. She sent me a couple of videos, and then she sent me the technique. No, I'm just kidding. She sent me a video about I wasn't using my legs enough. I wasn't driving. And then it's a drive with your legs and then pull with your arm, back up with your stomach, and then you pull with your arms. So there's a little 3-step. So I'm learning that. So anyway, So I with that technique, I dropped a minute off my time. I was 15 minutes and I went down to 14 minutes after 2 sessions. Okay.
Okay. That's great.
So, but I'm still not in the ballpark of what any reasonable person should have with regard. And I'm saying, is it my machine? Is it the way my technique? I feel like I'm efforting, but I'm not, I'm still way behind. I mean, if I was in a race with her for 6,000 meters, she beat me by 2,000 meters, according to her times.
She's been doing it for a while and you're just starting.
I grant you that, but it would be like just lapping me.
Okay.
So I'm just saying, maybe that's where I'm at. Maybe that's where I'm at. That could be my reality. I mean, it's like, really, it's like, I feel like I'm walking compared to her running.
Well, as in most things, once you master it, then you'll figure out what your levels are.
Oh, so the question is, because I'm saying to myself, if I'm doing 35 strokes a minute and she's doing 27 strokes a minute, and I'm guessing my strokes are longer as I'm a foot taller than she is.
Right.
There's a disconnect. It's like, what's going on? I figured it out.
And?
I hadn't set the machine up properly.
Oh, there's a setting up to do.
There's a max and minimum because I've got a water machine.
Okay.
So max and minimum on the tank. There's 4 adjustments.
Okay.
And there's also, who reads the manual? It's a rowing machine, for gosh sakes.
Nobody reads the manual.
What, am I, an idiot? The answer is yes. And then there's a four levels that you need to dial in on the calibration. And so if you've got max over here, 4 over here, min over here, 1 over here.
I'm not doing a math exercise.
Okay, I let me throw it all away. But we understand riding a bike, right? A 10-speed bike.
Of course, yeah.
I was stuck in first gear. I was spinning, but not going anywhere, essentially.
Got it.
Now, then I miscalibrated and it got some amazing results this morning.
Good.
I mean, but I was wrong. I still hadn't calibrated it correctly. For my next exercise, I'm going to have the max and the 4 all calibrated. And now we should be getting some true results on Wednesday.
Well, thank goodness. I will do I'll do as little.
How is yours going?
I love it. I am up to 90 minutes at a time.
Wow.
And now I'm doing bursts of 20 minutes. So I did 20 minutes this morning just to get my day started. And I've lost 2 pounds.
That's amazing.
Yeah. So, and all I needed was a little bit on the scale to go, okay, you know what I mean? Because now I just need a little bit to go, is this working? It doesn't have to be a ton because I need to be motivated. So I'm just in love with my treadmill. I'm sad it took me a full year to get it, but I'm motivated.
I was listening to Tom Brady over the weekend on a podcast, and he's famously doesn't drink a beer during the season.
All I know about him is that he's a Trump fan and he won a football game.
Oh, well, this is your chance to learn more about Mr. Brady.
Fill me in.
And then plus, this also lines up with I'm more about a person rather than, I can love somebody if you love Trump, I can still love what you're doing, your art, perhaps, right?
Perhaps, yes.
Maybe they're, I know good people, charitable people, run a food kitchen. They like Trump. What do I just have to, out of hand, dismiss everybody who likes Trump?
I don't know. I'm struggling with it just because I cannot invest in people that promote hate. I won't do it. So I'm trying to figure it out.
I know. So I'm the same way. So Brady, though, he's like avocado ice cream, takes an avocado, makes ice cream out of it.
Wow,
He said when I was a kid, I used to eat like everybody else, Burger King, McDonald's, shakes. And if you ever see him, his shirtless photograph during the pro trial days, 21 years ago when he was in college and he was trying out for pros, they got a picture of him with his shirt off. He's like your neighbor with his shirt off. Nothing muscular about him at all. Okay. But he started turning to, more stretching exercises, more, doesn't want any big bulky muscles, but he said it's all about the diet. He goes, if you don't think that the diet matters, that's fine. You're probably not right, But once you realize that what I'm putting in my body makes a difference about how I feel and what kind of, how I look, then you may want to start a few more vegetables and a few less shakes,
It's so true. You know what, Tom? And this is so ridiculous, but it's so true. Since I've been feeling better, I have been eating better because I feel better. And last night I wanted something sweet and I thought, I'm not ruining this, right? Now, normally I always have ice cream sandwiches. I always have zebra cakes. Last night I wanted something sweet. So you know what I ate? Guess.
Well, you've got candy all over the house.
Candy all over the house.
I can't imagine what you ate. Something. I give up.
We also have fruit in the house. So what I did was we have ginormous grapefruits that are sweet. So I ate a grapefruit last night and I thought
no sugar on it.
No sugar on it, just the grapefruit.
Wow. Well done.
I thought, you know what? This is the cycle that I needed to break, right? Where I was feeling cold in the winter and tired and just eating chocolate and ice cream and, the comfort stuff.
Of course.
All it takes is a little baby step of feeling better. And I thought, I'm not going to ruin that 90 minutes I just did.
Yep.
Grapefruit. So I hope that I'll stay on it. We'll see.
We'll see. And Brady talks about the fact that it's like your taste buds starts changing. He goes, now I wouldn't do drive-through with a gun to my head because I don't want it. Okay. What I want is a nice fresh hummus or some fresh fruit, big salad. He's craving the good stuff rather than, the Subway sandwiches.
How much, since you've been with Patrick, how much, I know you're eating a lot of vegetarian, but I know you're not a vegetarian. So do you bring meat into the house and fix it, or how does that work?
I try to honor the house, but I'm not going to not eat what I want to eat. So I brought Subway sandwiches. I almost bought a pack of hot dogs 2 weeks ago because they were on sale. It's like, I really like hot dogs once in a while.
Yeah.
But I don't know. I made some bacon at my old house before I came over here. Yes. I baked 4 pounds of bacon.
Yes.
And I probably have half of it still here because I'm not eating it like as much.
Okay. There you go. Very good.
But my weight's about the same.
Well, you know what, though? I know we talked about this at the beginning of the pandemic. Even if you're taking good care of yourself, when your body is in a fight or flight mode, and it really is for most of us because we're still in a pandemic. Let's say you tell yourself out loud, we're fine, I'm fine. Subconsciously, your body knows you're in a pandemic. So your body will hang on to extra weight when you're in a fight or flight.
Of course. Yeah. I like to be between 190, 195. I was 192 something this morning. So
that's not.
I'm not beating myself up. I'm right where I want to be.
No, that's totally great. So I do want to ask you along this favorite line because I thought this was interesting. Do you have a favorite time of day?
That's a good question. I'm in this awkward sleeping stage, but I tell you, if I could, somebody would walk up to me with a magic wand, says, you're going to bed at 10:30 and you're getting up at 6:30. I'd say, oh my God, yeah, pencil me in for that because I get nothing productive done after 10:30 except for watching stupid shows or on the internet. And I would love to be like 7 o'clock, little cool morning. You're out getting a little mile and a half, and I'd love it. Instead, I'm into this get up at 9 o'clock thing. But I'm fully rested though. I don't know. I don't want to be up at 7 o'clock and be tired.
So do you like quiet mornings or do you prefer?
I would like the quiet mornings, but my body isn't on that schedule.
Okay. I used to be more of a night person, and maybe it'll change when I get back out in the world. But now that I'm working from home, I've recognized if I wake up really early because I have a show or something going on and the house is quiet and the sun's streaming in, I really appreciate the mornings now. I've started to I've never been a morning person. I've never really liked the mornings, but during this phase of my life, I'm really appreciating the quietness of the mornings. And I never would have thought I would have said that out loud. You know?
Oh, no. Like I said, I've been getting up at 5:36 and then emails or whatever, then going back to sleep at 7:30 and waking up at 9 o'clock. It's a crazy schedule. But that 7 o'clock, I hear the birds. I got the window there. It's, it's like, wouldn't it be nice to go out and take a nice walk right about now?
Well, I'll tell you what, here in Brooklyn, it was in the 20s the last 2 days, which is ridiculous. But tomorrow we're supposed to Are you ready for this? 61 tomorrow.
Wow.
So here's my prediction.
Everyone's going to be coming out.
Everybody's coming out. It's going to be chaos. I bet you the restaurants are going to be full because before the pandemic, if it would get to the mid 40s, all the restaurants would do outdoor seating because at the end of a winter, we're very ready. So in my mind, I thought, wouldn't it be nice to take the car and go out by the water? And then I thought, who am I kidding? Everybody's going to get exposed tomorrow. So I'm excited about being outside tomorrow in the 60s. I hope I get a suntan. That's crazy.
Look at the week we've got. Just look at the sun.
70, turn it more towards the camera. Oh yeah. Yeah, that's crazy.
This is going to be the best week of the entire year coming up right now. That's high of 81, low of 59, really nice. And nothing but sunshine for a week.
Here's ours. We got a lot of clouds. We've got some 40.
But I'm not seeing freezing. I'm not seeing freezing temperatures.
I think we might be done with that. Earlier in the week, we were supposed to have snow, but it looks like it's turned to rain. So that's very exciting. So it's 41 and the sun is out. So it's a glorious day.
See, I'd like to get that shot, come up and visit you and have a look, see, and go for a nice long walk on the Brooklyn Bridge.
I miss the Brooklyn Bridge. I miss everything.
Oh.
I miss everything.
I watched Saturday Night Fever last night, speaking of the Brooklyn Bridge, and that's featured in there a couple of times, if you remember that.
I don't remember. It's been way too long since I've seen that.
There's a scene where they're all screwing around on the bridge and one of them falls off. There's a part of that. I hope that's not a spoiler alert. The movie's only 50 years old.
Spoiler.
Maybe 45 years old.
I vaguely remember that part, but I guess because I wasn't familiar with New York, it didn't ring.
Oh my God. The racism and the misogyny in that movie, it's off the chain. I'm watching it.
Which, Cuomo is even more fucked. Every day, Cuomo gets more fucked. Have you heard any more Cuomo stuff?
There's 3 women now.
They're putting billboards up telling him to resign. People are telling him to step away. More women are coming out of the woodwork. And then more people that have worked with him said, the misogyny, the attitude, the harassment over the years, like apparently it's a known thing. If you work with him, you're going to be mind fucked. And that's just the way that it is. And so I'm sure he comes from that era of Saturday Night Live or Fever, where everybody comes from a certain area. The Italians live here, right?
And so, I mean, Tony in that movie is like 19 years old.
Yeah.
In 1978.
Yeah.
And that would have been right about, Cuomo was probably about the same. What is he, 62?
63. He's
63. So yeah. He was born in 57, 67, 77. So he's in his early 20s too.
Yeah. So he came up with that era. So every day, I mean, of course, because we're in New York, we're bombarded with, he needs to quit. And Cuomo says, I'm not quitting. So we'll see what happens to him. So when you watch Saturday Night Fever, did it bring back any memories of the time when you watched it originally?
I'm thinking, I'm sure I only saw it once in the theaters.
Okay.
And I'm sure the first time I saw it was in the theater. And so it's like, I was in my 20s as well, early 20s. Yeah, maybe 20 years old. It was crazy because I'm watching it. I've got this huge screen TV in my bedroom. You know, it's an 82-inch I've got at the end of my bed. It's ridiculous. But it was crazy to watch that movie. And you know, the spick talk and the talk, it was wow.
You know, I remember, this is so funny. So when I watched Saturday Night Fever, the woman that was his dance partner, the ballerina, right? At the time I saw the film, in my head, I thought, oh, if I was as tall as that lady, in my head, as a teenage girl, I'm making this story. If I was as tall as that lady, I could dance like that. Years later, as an adult, I read an article about her. We're the same height.
Yeah, she's 5'3" or something. 5'4".
This teeny tiny little thing. But you tell yourself when someone's in a film that they're better than you, they have more than you, and that wasn't the case at all. I'll have to rewatch it because I know there's like isn't there like a bit of a rape scene in a car or something? Yeah. So there's some stuff.
It's you know, yeah, there is. And it's like, wow, that was crazy. You'd have to rate this movie X today.
Yeah, but you know, unfortunately in that era, I think a lot of girls kind of did things like that where they would give up their sexuality to be with
It was
somebody.
crazy. I
Yeah.
couldn't
So
imagine.
what made you watch that film of all the things,
Because it came up. I have a subscription to Showtime. Okay.
oh, look at Mr. Fancy Pants now.
It's your subscription. And
It looks
I noticed that Saturday Night Fever was just introduced. I think became free like yesterday.
okay. All
So I
right.
saw it in some advertising. You know what? Let's dial this in.
All right. So speaking of favorites, do you have a favorite phrase or a favorite saying?
Go fuck yourself.
I like that one too, Tom. That's a really good one. And depending on where you're coming from, that could be a joyous phrase.
What was the full question? I apologize, Your Honor.
We're talking about favorites. Do you have a favorite phrase or saying that you like to utilize or you like to share?
I do enjoy saying that's what she said. It at a moment that people don't, expect it.
Yes.
But so that's fun. But I can't say that. Clearly, I didn't invent that, but I do like that phrase.
You don't have to invent it though. It's just something that resonates or you like or that you enjoy or yeah, my thing used to be years ago, I got hooked on this be your own bliss. When I was going through some hard times, I was trying to talk myself out of always being sad and always being depressed. And as much as it seems like a simple phrase, I will say, if you truly believe in being your own bliss, you will learn that you can create your own happiness and you don't rely on the outside world to make you happy. So that was one of my big things that kind of helped me get out of some stuff.
And my uncle, the priest, his famous saying was, love one another, which is like, we kind of laughed it off as kids and like, what's he, I want to kill Jimmy right now. He's, so, but it's interesting. And it's good philosophical thing that kind of bubbles up in my head, especially I was listening to, there was a Facebook posting, right?
Yes.
And the guy had, he took a picture of beans being sold at a Publix, right? And there was, beans $3.95, whatever. And then there was a little tag on it. It said Black owned business.
Okay.
And the other one said, Mexican owned business. And the question was, really? Do we need to do this? Is this racist? How do you feel about this? Huh. And the knee-jerk reaction is for everybody to jump in and say, God dang it, that's it's racist. Why? But there were a couple of comments saying, you know what? These minority-owned businesses are having a hard time during the pandemic. Wouldn't it be nice if we kind of, rather than giving Goya all the business, we go to a guy that's, maybe struggling?
Yeah.
So, well, isn't it? I said, finally, a little bit of a Christ-like attitude rather than the knee-jerk, let's build a taller wall.
Yeah, no, I like that too. We've had some comments where someone on Facebook said something about someone on Etsy promoted a Black owned, but
my initial reaction was, I don't need to know that it's a Black owned business. I just want to get the best value for my dollar, blah, blah, blah. But then I hear some reasonable people say, hey, how about let's rethink this a little bit. So I kind of changed my mind.
I appreciate it. If you do any research into the Tulsa riots, which
I won't, go on.
Yes, which is something I recently learned about. I knew nothing about them. And you learn about the history of Black businesses and how they've really suffered because they were given higher interest rates. It was harder to have a business. So I appreciate that. I think in the past, I would have had that same knee jerk of like, give me a fucking break. And now I'm like, I actually spend a lot of time when we order our meals and when we get certain things focusing on Black owned businesses in my area, because I recognize now they've had a harder time of it. And there are people that have had, the forces have been against them and we're just trying to balance things out, man. And I appreciate knowing that. So
it's very interesting because I'm like, my initial is like, you know what? They're getting a lot of advantages. Female owned businesses, they have an advantage at Costco and Lowe's. Same thing with Home Depot and same thing with, Walmart. I mean, I don't have any advantage. Old white guy, good luck.
Right, guys. Other than the entire world has been in your favor your whole
Okay,
life.
let's not start with that again, okay?
Did you hear about the lady on...
As far as I know, I've owned 0 slaves.
You don't know. Do you know your family history? Did you ever do like 23andMe or...
I did 23 Skidoo.
Okay, so that's a different...
I never did. No, it's funny. That's a whole other show. We're over an hour into this show, darling.
Fine. Give a sexy tip.
Paula's like, she's done with her planting her tulips. And then
Paula wants you to quit. She said it was elder abuse. You have to quit harassing her.
good luck. Sue me, Paula. That's all I can say. Get in line.
I have actually, I've been on set before, and if someone teases me, I yell, elder abuse. I think it's so funny. And I know it makes people uncomfortable. So yes, well, you want to wrap it with a sexy tip?
Wow. Hey, you know what? I think, yeah, wrapping it is a sexy tip.
Okay. See?
Wrap it.
I opened the door and you walked right into it. And I knew that you would.
I'll take the easy ones.
Wrap it. That is our sexy tip. I'm very excited. Today's Monday. We have some guests coming up. So it's going to be.
Wow. You've loaded up. You've got another guest. Helen's coming up next week.
Yes.
You've got another guest for the 17th on St. Patrick's Day, which is she like a psychic or
she's an intuitive.
Intuitive.
Has a website I'll guide everybody towards right before she goes on to take a look to hear her history about how she kind of fell into recognizing that she was intuitive. Yes.
Yeah, I love it. And then you get another guest for the end of the month.
Yeah, so we've got some spicy people coming up.
Plus, Davis is interested in doing movies, and Patrick is talking about a cooking segment. This show is blowing up. We may get 35, 40 looks before the end of the before.
Don't look me in the eye anymore. I'm too important.
All right.
I'm Melinda McKinsey.
Once again, another short and sweet show. I'm Tom Wise. Thanks for sticking around and unpacking some shit. We'll be back on Wednesday. Enjoy the day.
Thanks so much.
Do I have fleas? I scratch a lot.